Okay, welcome. Welcome. This is the Anyone Can Farm live chat. I'm your host, Mark, coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today is, well, I know it's Thursday, and I know it's 2022, so it's probably the 27th, 28th, something like that. And we got some scrolling action going on here in the chat. I'm not sure what that means. I've never seen that before. You see that, Jill? But you ever see this scrolling in the chat overlay? Oh, what happened there?
Oh, let's see. Oh, shoot. No, you don't want chat overlay. There you go. I don't know why the chat is doing that. But
Well, it was okay because I could read it over here. It was smaller, but I could read it.
Well, I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, I can read it.
There you go.
All right, we got the clerics with us. Keith S. is with us. All right, I'm a little smaller. I don't know how it looks to you guys.
Yeah, it
looks normal.
Okay. It looks like exactly what you see there with the...
It's a little different, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, well, that's cool.
It works.
Yep. All right, and that was Jill's voice you just heard. She's back from her conference, so that's pretty nice. She just got back at 7:56 or something like that, and I had to be on here at 8. So we're going to have a little powwow after I get done here. And she said, well, what is your topic for tonight? And I said, tonight is one of those nights where I don't have a topic. And instead of trying to force something out, I'm just going to take it as it comes, because sometimes we have some pretty good chats when that happens. You know, I got some things to think about, to talk about, but they're just minor things, I guess. But I'm always interested in commenting on the stuff that you guys want to talk about as well. You know, well, it's Thursday, and this has been one of the nicest days that we've had in a long time here. It was up around 50 degrees today, and not a cloud in the sky. And the sun, at certain times, felt pretty warm. At certain times, not all the time. But it had a nice day. We spent the day over at Joe's place working on his homestead and did some videoing over there. And it's going to be some pretty interesting stuff, content. It's going to be some interesting content, because we're starting over there with just 40 acres of bare ground. It's got trees and a lot of different types of trees here and there. The soil's not real good. No dwelling on it. There is a well pit there that he showed me today, real old. So possibly there was something there at one time, but there's no sign. There's no foundation or anything like that. There's no barn, nothing like that. And it's heavily wooded, so it doesn't look like, I don't know, the well pit that's there is really old. But, you know, we're going to try it and see if we can get it to work, because all we have to do is put a well pump on there. It's a shallow well. So that's a good sign. We know that there is water that's quite shallow. So we're going to try that. And today what we did is we finished up, or mostly finished up, on a 70 by 70 pen. We're approaching this, or the way it's shaping up is we're approaching this as though he had just got this land and arrived there in his wagon last December. December 1st is when we set the yurt up. And I think it was probably mid December before they moved into it took a little doing things, straightened out, and the wood stove in and all that. But it's pretty nice. I am actually quite impressed with that yurt design. On some of the coldest days with the wood stove going, it's nice. It doesn't hold the heat real well, but there's ways to work around that, and maybe you'll get to see some of that because I'd like to help with that too. All right, we got Nancy's with us, and Dark Oppression is with us. Wow, glad to have you here, Dark Oppression. That's interesting. And then you say, God bless you all. It's kind of a dichotomy, wouldn't you say? Maybe you're an undercover guy, right? Yeah, so I spent the day over there and built this 70 by 70 pen. And then by the time I left, about 4 o'clock, we were able to put 2 lambs in there. And it's really thick with brambles, and there's a couple of trees in there that are just jack pines. And the soil is not real great. But as soon as they got in there, they went to eating. And then a little manure dropping everywhere. So it's going to be kind of a long-term thing, but we are going to put some pigs in there as well. We were able to get a series of stubby posts in and electric wire inside of the wire that we put up. And this was new for me. This was called sheep wire, and it has squares about that big, sheep and goat, and it's a lot heavier than just regular field fence. But it was fairly easy to work with. We didn't really have a tractor to use over there, and we didn't have any of the apparatus that we use here for fencing, but we were able to get it done. But there was 4 of us working on it. My 2 little fellows, they're kind of new at fencing. They haven't done a whole lot. Joe is an old hand. He's had his hands on every fence on this property at one time or another, and he started doing it when he was probably probably 10 is when I got him going on it. He's been helping me a long time. So I did have some contact today with some people that I want to share. If you haven't heard the interview that I did with Scott Kesterson last Tuesday, it's on Bards FM. And if you just put in Bards FM on like a search engine, it'll take you to it. And then you just got to scroll down through them. And it's a conversation with Mark Baker. And it was a pretty good conversation. Scott's a really good interviewer. And it was quite an event for me because I listened to him, or I have listened to him a lot, when he was on YouTube, and I listened to him every day, and but then I stopped listening to a lot of stuff. So I just cut stuff off because I was tired of hearing, oh, we have this problem and we have this problem. I was tired of hearing that. And that was at the stage he was at. He was pointing out this is what's going on. And then it morphed into, hey, we need to take control of our counties. Like, we need to get into county politics, and we need to. And that's kind of when I'm not interested in doing that. And I found that what I was doing, I thought was having a bigger impact. And so I didn't listen to Bards as much. Once in a while I'd tune in, but then he swung over to kind of where we're at, it seems, You know, he's still like, you need to get involved. And I agree. I ran for county sheriff here, and I would do it again if I thought it would have as big an impact as what we are. I didn't get elected county sheriff. Of course, they have machines here in the county. Can't prove anything at this point, but I just kind of think I know. But this is the place where I landed, and this has gone really well. And I think it's going to go even better, and it's having a bigger impact. So this is where I plan to stay unless I really feel that that's what I'm supposed to do, is run for county sheriff again. I'm not interested in being a state representative or a senator or anything like that. It's just, I don't think that there's, for a guy like me, it's just not a good place. You know, I am more of a, I'm not well suited for that type of bureaucracy, you know. I think I would do good as a county sheriff. However, it would get old. I think it would get old. But if I'm called to do that, I will do it. But I think what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to do. So when Scott swung over to, hey, no, you know, we need to grow our own food, and he points out that a lot of the reasons why they got such control over us during the Wu flu was because they controlled the restaurants, they controlled the stores, and that. And like, they had no control over me, because if they were going to make me wear a face diaper in a restaurant, I'm just not going. I mean, it would be like if they said to me, you have to put, you know, if somebody, like, I'm not opposed to wearing a sport coat and tie or a suit and tie, but if they said you have to, I'm not going. I'm not going. You know, no one, I'm not going to do that. I don't like that, you know, like holding. That's why I don't like flying on airplanes, because they make you submit to a lot of things, or you can't get on their airplane. And I don't really like that. You know, I'm paying money to get on that anyway. And they says, well, you know, if we let everybody on, somebody's going to do, you know what, they're going to blow that plane up. Right. Yeah. But I get strip search going on a plane, and a bunch of people wearing burqas don't, you know, and that's really happened. So anyway, I think what we're doing is good. And now I did that interview with Scott, and it seems like, well, we had a conversation on the phone, and it was pretty obvious we're on the same page, and we definitely have the same mission. There's no doubt about that. And he's a mission-oriented guy, and I like that. He's got his act together. I like that. And so we're going to do some other things. We're going to do another interview. You guys will get to meet him, because I'm going to bring him on this show. And he's a regular guy. You're going to find a very interesting guy. And then you'll find out some of the other things that you can look at. But he actually just got himself a piece of property, and is going to be putting together a farm as well. And he's working with a friend of ours out in Oregon. That's how you say it if you're from there. Everybody else calls it Oregon. But and it's Helios Farm, run by Kira and Theo Wadman. And they're a lot like us. They have a butcher shop on the farm. I think they service like 300 families. So they're pretty serious about it. And, you know, we've become friends over the years. And it's nice that they're right there to help Scott do this. And he's got an outfit that I think is similar to the tribe, and it's called Bard's Nation. Now, I don't know everything there is to know about that, but I think that it is a meetup of people who listen to bards. And if you listen to him, you know where he's coming from. If you want to meet with other people that listen to him, that makes a lot of sense. You guys know I listen to Owen Benjamin occasionally, kind of controversial. But I appreciate his point of view on some things. He's hard to listen to, kind of, sometimes. But brings a different point of view in. But he has what they call bear meetups. And his thing is the same. It's all about self-sufficiency and community and being able to look at the parasite class and just say, you run along. We don't need you. You know, we don't do anything that you have control over. So just piss off, basically. And I like that, about his bear meetups. You know, they take care of their own schooling, take care of their own health issues, they take care of their own farming issues, you know, and all that, the things that we do. So I really appreciate that about him, and that's what Bard's Nation is going to be about. And I'm going to support it. I feel as though I'm going to be a heavy supporter of it. The tribe's good too. I mean, we've gained a lot of people in the tribe since I did that interview with Scott, and I really appreciate that. So that's really what it's all about, because we go on the tribe. You know, we're all members of the tribe, and you have a question about something, so you fire out a question on the tribe, and you've got all these people that are willing and ready to help. And so far, we haven't had to say, you know, no saying this word or no saying that word or anything like that. People are just pretty decent. They just really are. And it's gone well. I mean, except for me getting called a racist by one of my friends. That really kind of bothered me. But other than that, it's been pretty good. So I don't think that we're aligned with any kind of political issue. We just are in tune with the good, the decent, and the beautiful things of life, and propagating that. And, you know, I'd say we're constitutionalists, that's for sure. I am definitely a constitutionalist. Without that blanket of freedom, you got nothing. I'm here to tell you that. But with that blanket of freedom, you've got everything. And I love to talk about that. I just had a really nice long conversation with a gal that came here to have her chickens butchered. Tomorrow is our chicken butchering day. And she showed up, and her chickens were really small, really small. She had 50 of them, and they were really small. And I said, oh, wow, these are small. Do you like them like that? And she said, I thought they were kind of small. I said, have you done this before? Nope, it's our first time. I said, oh, good for you. Good for you. But they are kind of small. And I think you'd be disappointed if we butchered them for you. We will. But I think you'll be kind of disappointed in what you get back. So maybe you should take them home and feed them for a little bit longer. And she was like, yeah, maybe I should. And I kind of, she felt a little, I could see, well, I don't know if she didn't say anything, but I could see kind of in her manners and that she'd felt like failure. And I said, no, you'd be a failure if you just throw your hands up and quit. Now you got to do this. You got to fix this. And I gave her some stuff, some biochar with inoculated biochar for her to give to her chickens, and that should get them straightened out. So anyway, let me read what this is going on here with this dark oppression. Ooh. What do you know? My thing is not working. My mouse, my scroll, it won't scroll the stuff. Okay. So what do I got here? I got Keith S. saying chicken flu in Cadillac. I don't know. The Ice House is saying my eggs arrive tomorrow. Yay. Nervous about incubating. Never did that before. If it's an incubator like we have, or any of the new ones that are out, they're kind of Murphy proof. Angus here. Hello, tribe. Peeling in late. Gee, I wish I had my glasses. I can't hardly read this. This is so small. All right. Give me liberty or I'll take death. I hope y'all show the chicken butchering. I have a rooster I'm butchering in the next few days. I'm a hands-on learner no matter how many times I read the book. All right, Dark Oppression. I think probably Jill has given you a heads up that we got a chicken processing class coming up here at the farm. If you live near us, you can come to it. It's a good class. We go over a lot of the, pastured poultry stuff and chicken health and chicken processing, chicken selling, and everything that we do. And you're right here with us, so you can ask any questions that you want. I usually have a partially built chicken tractor, and then we can talk about how the chicken tractors work, and then we can go out to the chicken field, and you can see us move them, and we'll even let you move them, and then we pick up a bunch of chickens, have a chicken barbecue, and then we go out after the chicken barbecue, and we butcher chickens. It's a chicken day. It's a BC day. BCD, Big Chicken Day. Okay, Samantha Brown is with us. Welcome, Samantha. That's a new name we haven't seen around here. And I'm apologizing here because my chat is not working. It's just scrolling. Maybe you can see that. So then it's moved over here, and I can't scroll it. All right, so I can't back down on it. So it's a little different. I'm just going to have to read things as they come. I would be concerned what Keith is saying about bird flu in Cadillac. These people that are going to try and push this bird flu thing, they're the same people that back in 2011 were pushing the feral swine thing, right? That they totally made up. They had an agenda. They wanted all small farms to give up their pigs. Why? Because the pigs could get away and they could become feral, and we could have a massive problem here. And because of that, they wanted you to dispossess your property. So now they're going to play the same routine. The war drums are beaten nationally. Oh, the bird flu. And so the Department of Ag is probably going to come in and they're going to say, well, because they could have a problem here, bird flu, your birds could die. So their solution is we will kill them, right? And that's quite a solution. But I just want you to know it's coming out of these people, this parasite class of regulator that produces nothing, knows very little, but they have these positions because they, went through the university for a few years, and then they got in this corporate system of the Department of Agriculture in there. They're big muckety mucks in their own mind. But I think that if you play along with their game, shame on you. You should just continue on with what you're doing. Get your birds big, get them in the freezer, and then just ignore them. They will go away. They're going to try this again, and what they'll do is they'll get people like the Karen class of people. They say, "Oh, if your birds drink a lot of water, they could have the bird flu." And the Karen class, they're missing freaking out about the Wu flu. So now they can freak out about this. And especially you may have a Karen that lives next door to you and you got chickens. Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
And old Karen might want you to get rid of your chickens so that, don't you realize your chickens could kill all the sparrows and the cardinals? Don't you realize this could be a terrible thing? No more bald eagles because of the bird flu. And they just make it up. But I think this one's going to be different. I do. I've been thinking about this a lot. Okay, it says, like Dark Oppression says, just like bird flu is something they made up, yet they're murdering 20 million chickens. So you're saying, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if you're pushing me a little bit. I don't mind if you do. Go ahead. I can take it. But are you saying because they killed 20 million chickens, oh, then there must have been bird flu? Like they would never just kill 20 million chickens if it weren't bird flu. Is that what you're saying? Maybe you're not. I don't know. I don't want to pick on you. Actually, I do. But I try to be nice on here. But that's one of the games that they play. They'll splash a headline in one of these rags, these local rags, and they'll say, you know, so many thousands of birds exterminated, or how would they put it? Whatever. Because of bird flu. And then people read that and they say, oh, it must be here. It must be real. And then when I come out and say, these people are liars from jump, then they kind of identify me as somebody that's just anti-government, right? And that's what they'll do. They'll throw stones at anybody that doesn't go along with their little narrative. You know, like if you didn't go along with the face diaper and the everything else, then they identify you as like an infidel. When really, if you open your eyes and you just watch what's going on with these people, they're the ones that they go with a narrative because it's their job to go with the narrative. But I'm having a problem with that. And here's my problem with that. Let's say you're a low-level guy, you're working for one of these outfits, and you just say, well, it's just my job. And let's say that they start going on farms, which they will never do that. All right. They will make you think that they're going to do that so that you might as well submit. It's just like with the Wu flu thing. Well, I might as well get the you know what, because if I don't, they're going to take my job. Well, you don't know that. And I just had a person say to me, well, they made my husband get his. They did. They held him down. Well, no, but they said he couldn't come to work anymore unless he did it. I said, well, what he should have done is say, well, I'm coming. If you want to change the contract, we can negotiate that, but you're going to have to fire me because I'm not taking that, right? And then if they fire you, well, that's actually an interruption of a contract right there. And there's got to be a good reason for that, or else you have grounds for a lawsuit. Now, nowhere in that contract, that employment contract, was there a statement that said, oh, yeah, and if an experimental you-know-what comes along, we may want you to take it or you can't come to work. It didn't say that in the contract. You know, it's just like if they said, let's say you're working for this company for 2 months or so, and then they say, oh, by the way, Monday morning, you're going to have your left testicle removed or you can't come to work. You should say, fire me then. And then you should file suit against them. That's what you should do. And who wouldn't fine for you? Because that's a medical procedure and it's has nothing. I mean, there was nothing about that in the contract that you signed and they signed when you hired in. So, okay. Let's talk about this. Just like okay. Inga says, I can't believe all the farmers that are killing their entire flocks without proper identifiers of bird flu. The reason why people will do that is because they will be compensated. They're going to get compensated either way, whether they sell them at market or whether they murder them and the state gives them funny money, right? Mr. J says, maybe they euthanize and then incinerate so there's no evidence. Yeah, it's probably. How many times are they running the PCR test for bird flu? Run it often enough, it's going to come up positive. Exactly. They've been doing that. You know, they did that same thing for the Wu flu. All right, but I think it's a little different this time. I am hearing murmurings, and they make sense to me that you've got individuals from the scientific community, and they you know that because they have these letters behind their name, and they work for these departments, and they are promoting this. They're promoting this. So let's say that you're the director of one of these departments, and you're going to just follow suit with what's going on nationally with the bird flu. Like, well, we better get with the program here. I believe that if you are paid by one of these departments, that if something like this comes along, it would be the responsible thing to do for you to make sure that what the information that you're passing along is correct, right? Is correct. Now, what if you don't? What if you don't? What if you pass information along? Let's say you're some sort of PhD and you work for one of these departments, and you pass on information that is incorrect to the public. Well, you got that PhD, you should know better. There is a process, a scientific process, to ensure that the information that you're passing along is correct. Is there not? No. I don't really expect them to play that way, because we're talking about departments, especially in Michigan, that the president comes out and says, "Oh, there's going to be food shortages." And you guys have heard me rant about this before, but I'm going to do it again. Greetings from Indiana, Mike H. Right on. But the president, the top cop, or the top executive, says there's going to be food shortages, and then he just leaves it right there, right? Is this the war on food shortages there, Joe? Or is this just, no, that's the way it's going to be, and there's nothing we can do about it? Get used to it. It's pretty much what he said. There's going to be food shortage. Oh, yeah, there is. And you would think that at the state level, we are a independent state from the union. You would think at the state level, the governor would say, well, we're going to get a handle on this. I don't want my people being hungry. If I was the governor, I'd be putting my finger in the belly button of the director of agriculture, Department of Agriculture, and say, get this fixed now. This is priority. There will be no food shortages in this state. But they're not saying that. No. They're saying, Sean Wise, love chat. Okay. I can't back up the chat, you guys, so I just got to take it as it comes. I'm having some technical difficulties. But our illustrious Department of Agriculture is not doing that. They're not offering any solutions at all. They're not saying, okay, everybody come on in here. We got to figure this out. Okay, so we need you guys to get some chickens going. We need you guys to get some pigs going. We need you guys to get a lot more grass growing. We're gonna graze some cattle, and we're gonna get this fixed. We got some money here at the state. We're gonna build a new processing facility right here. We're gonna do this. They're not doing anything. They're saying we're gonna be hungry, and now the same department that should be offering solutions to this problem is saying, yeah, and if there's any kind of flu in your, they're promoting something that we, the public, at least this person in the public, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And I would be a fool if I did believe you, because you've passed on so much bad information. But what if somebody is singled out from the Department of Agriculture that is, supposed to know better, and held accountable? You don't want to hold all of them accountable, because that would take too much time, too much money. But let's say that you made an example out of one of them. I mean, you're a scientist, you're a PhD, you're a veterinarian, you're in this chain of command, and yet you didn't flag this as possibly baloney. Now, what if an independent scientific firm is employed? What if, and they conclude in their findings that there's nothing to this. We can't find it. Any of the flocks that have been destroyed and burned, we have no evidence that this ever occurred. So how does this individual before God and country, of course, if he's being sued for his net worth, he would have to defend himself, would he not? How does he prove that what he did was justified? You should know, right? You're getting a fat paycheck and you got this PhD thing behind your name. You're an expert. We are depending on you, but you let this fly and you created fear, distrust, and what else? Destabilization in our state. You did that. Okay. Now you have to give account for yourself. And if you can't give account for yourself, then you will be held accountable by us. Right. So I just don't think that this scenario that they keep playing is going to continue. I just don't. Like when this came my way, it was, we've got a big problem in the state of Michigan. We've got feral swine. We've got up to 5,000 of them wandering around the state. Yet nobody that lives in the damn state had ever seen one. Oh, I take that back. There was that lady that worked for Bill Schuette, who was the attorney general, whose Uncle Tony seen one back in 74. Yeah, she was about the only one that ever even enunciated that they had seen one. Nobody else came out and said they had seen one. Of course, there was one over on the highway over here. My daughter-in-law saw it, and she said, Mark, this is before she was my daughter-in-law, she called me and she said, I think one of your pigs is out here on the highway. It looks just like one of your pigs. And so I shot over there. We couldn't find tracks or anything, but I trust her that she saw something that looked like one of my pigs. She'd been to my farm 50 times. But the problem is when you understand the mentality and the psychology of pigs. Okay, I live, I don't know, 2 miles from the highway, I would guess. Yeah, like 2 miles. And it's just, a road that goes that way. There's a big swamp in between me and the highway. And so there's no road that goes directly there. You have to go north or south and then jog over. But however that pig got there, right? And I never did find it. Nobody ever did see it besides Colleen. I believe she did see it. But I believe somebody placed it there. And I believe that was done intentionally to lend credibility to the claim that the Department of Ag made that pigs like mine, you can't keep them in. They even said, a nifty little quip that they came up, when you can build a fence that will contain water, then you can contain pigs. Like, I've got a whole bunch of pigs here. They never get out, right? That's what electric fences are for. But you wouldn't know that, would you, at the Department of Ag? You wouldn't know anything about electric fences. No, you wouldn't, because you're all about confinement operations, you dirty buggers. And I call you that because that is a really dirty thing that you've done to agriculture. All right. All right. USA Patriot 1791 is with us. Okay, yeah, give us the thumbs up. Nicole is with us. Right on, Nicole. Okay, love chat. The love children. All right, so the same thing. They're doing the same thing with the bird flu. And I think we have to talk about this. And we want to stay away from just, bending the knee to these people. And they will claim that they, trust the science and all that stuff. No, we would have to be fools to listen to you guys. Now, if they have a legitimate claim, make the information available to us. Make it available to me, and I will be the first one to come on here and say, you know what, there's something to this. If there is. But I don't think there is, because it's just the pattern that they follow always seems to be agenda driven. And it seems as though the agenda right now is to make the average working American person who wants to love their country and live in their country and work hard and raise their family, they want to spank us for some reason. They want to put us in austerity conditions, right? I wonder why, right? We've done something wrong. And food shortages, they've told us, is what we're looking at, right? Now, to shake Joe Biden and say, look, get a handle on this, you old man, that probably isn't going to happen. So it falls to us, falls to everyone in this tribe. We'll get a handle on it. We don't need you. We still have our land. We still have our wherewithal to do that. And that's what anyone can farm is about. For those of you coming in, all right, Lone's with us. Right on, Lone. Sean Wise says, if we had feral pigs in Michigan, I would hunt pigs and sell pork. To hell with feeding them. Yeah, I know. You know, they try to, they came out with these numbers of the feral swine that were in Michigan. Now, they got them out in Texas. That's no joke. But there's more to the story. There's a lot more to the story than you all know. Who's seen, show of hands, please, Old Yeller? Okay, you remember when Travis got hog cut? He got hog cut by feral swine, right? And what was going on? What was Travis doing? He was up a tree, remember? And he was putting a noose down, and he'd get a little pig, and he'd lasso it, he'd pull it up, and then he would mark its ear. What? With his knife. He would cut its ear. And then he'd said, now you're wearing the coat's mark. And then he'd let it go. That was he marked that pig for his family, and he would go back and get it, I guess. All right, Benedicti's saying, allegedly there are feral pigs. I love that dog. All right, but how did those pigs get there in the first place? That was way back. That was right after the Civil War, and you know, Old Yeller is very factual. They got there because they were released there. Because in Texas, in those areas in the bottoms, they have all these oaks, these pin oaks, and they could release hogs in there, and it was a food supply that they could go back and they could harvest. That's why they did that. And that has been a very common practice in American history. They did it in logging camps up in the Upper Peninsula. They did it for years and years and years, like 100 years. And there's no feral swine up there because pigs can't survive in the harsh climates here. They do really well in Texas. But there's another factor in that thing going on in Texas. And I doubt you people know about this. One of our guys went down there to get the lay of the land in Texas when we were going through the feral swine thing here. He's a filmographer. I've had him on. His name's Kyle. And he's been on a couple of times on our show. Kyle Miron, escaped me there for a minute. And he came back with some very interesting information that I have found to be factual. All right. So there are guys down there that trap feral swine. They trap them. And you kind of wonder, you never see them just getting in there and just mowing them down, just killing them all. They always trailer them. And then, like, what do you do with them? And they have places you can go and you can sell feral swine. Who buys feral swine? Who would buy feral swine? Oh, the guys that have these huge ranches and they turn them loose. And then they let guys come out and fly out in helicopters and shoot them. And if you don't think that's going on, well, it is going on. It is. That's how come you can sell them. So they're basically relocating them all the time. And there are even guys that keep them in captivity. They separate them. They let the moms feral, and then they're selling wiener pigs so people can let them go on their ranches. Okay, Jonathan's here. Hello from way over in Minnesota. Way over there. Hey, Good, Honey's with us. No, I don't know, Honey, about that. Question: what little I know about bird flu seems the birds die within 24 hours with no mysterious long-term illness, plus the birds have to show some type of illness. Is that correct? I don't know. I haven't heard that. I've not heard that. But you remember, they did bird flu in about 2005. They tried it, and it didn't go anywhere. Knew early on that licensing was a scam when they told me I could not compel them to enforce their law against my competitors, known to be violating their law. That's right. That's right. I didn't know we were on that subject, but I had a conversation about that with a gal today. The whole licensing thing is a scam. It's in order to get you into an agreement with these agencies like the Department of Agriculture. They like to get people into a permit scenario where you ask for permission and they say, well, sure, we'll give it to you, $170, and we want you to sign away your Fourth Amendment and your Fifth Amendment. Is that okay? Well, okay, I guess, if I got to. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, you got to. Well, what if I don't? Well, and I know what you're saying. We had a similar thing happen here. We jumped through all the hoops. When I first got here, I was just coming out of the military, so I was a big regulation guy. And I'm going to set this butcher shop up. I jumped through all of their hoops, and I got my license. Display this license proudly, it says, right on the license. So I did. Proud. Was I proud of that license? I felt like when I got my license to drive, when I was 16. But anyway, I didn't really display it proudly. I just had it. And we're doing kind of a pretty good chicken business and butchering pigs too. And then all of a sudden, my Amish neighbors set up a butcher shop too. Amish are great for that. I mean, they love to find out what everybody in the neighborhood's doing, and then we can do it cheaper. And that's what they did. They set up their own butcher shop. And I was kind of taken by that, because how could they get a license when they don't have any refrigeration? They don't, and I knew these guys. I'd seen the shop. They didn't have running water. They didn't have anything. They didn't even clean up when they were done. And so my inspector lady, I asked her about that. I said, well, how come I have to have a license and they don't? And she kind of boiled it down to some nebulous equation that went back to her days when she was in college, some nebulous weird equation. And basically, because we say so, and they're Amish and you're not, so I just, like, it's not like they would go over there and shut their doors because I had a license. They couldn't enforce them not having a license. And then later on, after my lawsuit, I realized, hey, I don't need a license either. And I don't have a license, and I'm not going to get a license. I mean, I don't think you really need a license for anything, because if you don't, okay, I told you guys about this last week. This was really telling. Okay, so a friend of mine's here, and his I haven't heard of that, honey. I guess I'm in the dark. Pig rights from farmers. I don't know about that. Mike is going full Amish. You do that. You want to be Amish? You be Amish. I don't want to see any car keys in your pocket, buddy. This gal is here, and she's I don't know. I didn't know her, and I was talking with a friend, and I said something about selling raw milk, and I said, yeah, it's going pretty good, and she very authoritatively says, you don't sell raw milk. Like my mom saying, we don't say the word slut. And I didn't appreciate that. And I said, well, yeah, actually I do sell raw milk. And she said, no, you don't sell raw milk. And I said, yes, I do sell raw milk. I sell it every chance I get. I like to sell raw milk. And then she says, well, I'm an attorney and I am duty bound to upchannel any illegal activity to the proper authorities. So no, you don't sell raw milk. And I said, sister, you do it right now. Call the authorities right now. Be true to your duty here and call the authorities about Mark selling raw milk. I want you to. I want to see what'll happen. Well, of course, she was just full of it. But it's that kind of stuff that people spread. They say stuff like that. And I try to explain, this gal that was just here, she's milking a cow, and she had to take her chickens home because they were way too small. But she thought some things were illegal too. And she said, you mean raw milk isn't illegal? And I said, look, if I gave you a gallon of raw milk and you were driving home and you got pulled over by the state police for a taillight out, would they cite you for a taillight out and a gallon of raw milk? No, of course they wouldn't, because there ain't no law. They're law enforcement officers. Is there a law against driving a car with improper lighting? Actually, no, it isn't a law, but it is in the rule book, in the agreement that you made when you got your driver's license, that you would operate a vehicle. But it's not against the law, but you can be cited for a violation of the contract, the agreement. Yeah. So anyway, I get tired of hearing that BS all the time. If you were getting pulled over by the state police and you had a half a gallon of milk and you rolled down the window real quick and chucked it out the window, then you'd get cited, not for throwing away, illegal milk, but for littering, and you should. But when does milk become illegal? When does it become illegal? Oh, I heard raw milk's illegal. Oh, when does it become illegal? Is it illegal when it's in the udders of the cow? Is it illegal as soon as it's squeezed out of the teats into the bucket? Is that when it becomes illegal? Or is it illegal after it's illegal until it's homogenized? Then it's legal. Oh, I see. So if I get caught with it up until the time I'm putting it in the homogenization machine or pasteurization machine, I could get busted, go right to jail. Don't pass go. But if it's pasteurized, oh, then it's okay. How stupid is that? It's not true. None of it's true. None of it is true. Jonathan says, I did a project for my social entrepreneurship class, a presentation on a locally sourced only meat market. I was surprised to learn that most people are unaware of the BS you got to go through to sell meat. Now, Jonathan, I sell meat all day long. All day long. I don't go through any BS. It's my meat. If somebody wants to buy it and they want to exchange dollars to me, I can. Now, if you want to get into some contractual weird thing with the Department of Agriculture, then you will have to do that. You will have to go through a bunch of BS. But you only have to go through that if you're going to sell to someone else that has bought into that BS, like a restaurant. They seem to always buy into it. Or a retail store. They buy into it too, right? But if it's another citizen, you don't have to go through any of that. I mean, if I wanted to sell you a puppy, do I got to get a license to do that? No. If I want to sell you a bale of hay, if I want to sell you, a class to learn how to process a pig, do I got to go through any kind of licensing? No. But as soon as it's meat or milk or something like that, all of a sudden, yes, you got to jump through a lot of hoops. I say no. And if I don't jump through the hoops, how many people do you know that are sitting in jail right now for selling, for not jumping through their hoops? You don't know anybody because there ain't nobody. Their hoops are voluntary. They are absolutely voluntary. And if you volunteer to do it, okay, that's what you want to do. And it's sort of like if you want to sit down and play the game in a Monopoly, to play the game effectively, you got to go by their rules, the rules of the game of Monopoly. You've got to go by their rules. But if you don't have to play the game. And the Department of Agriculture, they put out a whole lot of games, and it's usually their rule books are very nebulous. Is that just a coincidence? Are they just stupid people and they can't write a good rule book? No, they love to keep things nebulous so people don't quite know. Why? So you're destabilized. They don't want you stable in agriculture. Don't you get it? They want you destabilized. The small farms community, they want you out of business. They want it all in industrial ag. Who do you think pays for their ag programs at their damn universities? It's not small farms. I don't give them any money. Why should I? They don't do anything for me. Industrial ag does. Why? Because most of those weenies in those ag programs, where do they go to work for? Department of Agriculture, Department of this, Department of that. They're not actually farm people. There is no, I can't read it, Jonathan. I can't read that. The anyone can farm logo is right in front of it. All right. Well, that's how I feel about the bird flu. I just don't think that you should react to any of their BS. Just get your birds done, get them in the freezer. They'll forget about it by next year. They'll be on to the next thing. But if you react to it and call them on the phone and stuff like that, I think you're just playing into their game. They're trying to spread this kind of fear thing. Okay, there's a grocery store for sale for $120,000, 10 miles from my house. The project idea was to buy it and to make it into a slaughter facility and meat market. Yeah, that's a rough one. I wouldn't bite on that. Not in a million years. And want me to tell you why I wouldn't bite on that? To fully understand why I wouldn't do that, you need to fully understand what the word fascism means. Fascism. We hear it kicked around all over the place, and people really don't even know what it means. And I think that's by design too. It's like we have the people with the blue hair that are burning buildings, and they are doing that because they are anti-fascists. So they must hate buildings. So buildings must be fascist. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but if you look up what fascism is, it's a very bad thing. It really is. It's publicly held, or no, privately held. The businesses are privately held, but they're government controlled. Okay? Government controlled. So let's say I have a logging business, and when I want to go in the morning and I want to cut this, this, and this, I got to comply with government people. They're the ones that have the final say in what I can do. They're the ones that say when I can transport, what I can cut, how I can cut, how I have to leave it when it's done. Yeah, I know. You'd say, well, geez, if we didn't have them, the loggers would leave a mess. Well, not if it's private property, they wouldn't. And if it is public property, then I could see an outfit like the Department of Natural Resources saying we want it left in a fair condition for the people because it's public property. So I don't really believe that argument. But let's say that you bought that little meat market. You would have to comply with state and federal regulations. And so who has the final say on the date that you can open? You want to open it on this day, and they say, no, we can't come and inspect for another 2 weeks. So it'll be 2 weeks. And they probably just want to slap you down a little bit and let you know who in the heck's running the show, right? And that's how it was here when I had licenses through the state. We won our lawsuit against the Department of Natural Resources, right? Oh, well, that's when the Department of Agriculture said, you know what? We haven't inspected you in 14 years. Now's the day that we want to inspect. So what was that? That was payback. That's what that was. And I knew what it was. You boys haven't inspected me forever. And now that I beat the state with this feral swine thing, now you want to inspect. Right. So if I didn't comply with the inspection, they wouldn't give me my license. Without a license, I couldn't sell to my restaurants and my retail stores. But by then, they had destroyed those markets anyway. So I said, what do I need the license for? Keep your damn license. And as soon as the license was gone, then I was no longer partnering with the Department of Agriculture. Kicked the dust off my heels. Now they have no authority in what I do. They never had authority anyway. We had a contractual agreement, right? And sometimes that gets construed as authority. Okay, Honey says, I have bought meat at a farmer's market 2 different ways. 1, through a friend that is taking orders, and 2, processed at a regular FDA. Well, it's not FDA, that's Food and Drug Administration. You mean USDA approved slaughterhouse. Yeah. Well, there is like a USDA plant, a USDA kill plant is a plant that has a USDA guy or gal there, and you'll know them because they have a white coat on and a hat that says USDA. And their job is to be real smart about if a cow or a pig is healthy or not, right? So they're ensuring the health of the animals. And when that happens, then that product from that shop can go into a third party, like a restaurant or a retail store. So not only do we have the owner of the slaughter facility ensuring the quality of the product because it's his business, but we also have a guy from the federal government that's saying, yep, this one's breathing. And usually the guy from the federal government is probably about, I'll just leave that out. But that guy from the federal government, he can say, shut it down. He can say, shut it down. So he has the final say. So that is, in essence, fascism. That is a fascist system. And how they keep that going is you have a restaurant, let's say, and they want to open a restaurant and they're in town. And so what do I have to do? Oh, you got to check with the health department. The health department is like the USDA, but on a local level, right? And so they say, the health department says, oh, well, anything that you sell in here has to be slaughtered at a USDA plant. Why? Why is that? Because we say so, and we make the rules in this town. Okay. So that means if you want to get meat in your restaurant in town from somebody other than like Gordon Food Supply or Food Service of America, then you have to take those animals to a USDA plant, and then you can serve it in the restaurant. It's sort of like they triangulate on you, you know. But let's say I have a restaurant on my farm, which I do. It's called the Dinner Table. And any of you all that want to come over for dinner, it's $16.95 Monday through Friday. You know, you can eat with us, right? Bottomless cup of coffee. It's a bottomless cup. It's the Baker restaurant, but it is an unregulated restaurant. It's totally unregulated. We don't have anybody that says we have to wash the dishes. You know, we don't have anybody that says we have to wash our hands after we go to the bathroom. We don't have anybody like that. So like without that, we just urinate right on our hands, right? Because we don't have any inspectors there to make sure that we wash the dishes and wash our hands after we. So on private property in the Baker restaurant, and Lone Star, you've eaten at the Baker restaurant. It's pretty good, wasn't it? Did you get sick? The meat that's served in the Baker restaurant, that can be sourced from, that roadkill that you passed on the way in. Yeah, pick that thing up, bring it with you. Yeah, right. So, and what would we do? Like, how do we even function without the USDA and the MDA? How do we even do that? I mean, we're just such dunderheads. We could never hope to put out a decent product without them looking over our shoulder. We just couldn't. Yeah, they're lucky. They're so lucky. I mean, they're the chosen few. They were the ones that made it into university. Yeah, Andy ate at Baker's, right? Did you make out okay? Ops USA. Oops. Okay. Sean Wise. Okay, Mark, wait until I see my little baby gilts I'm grabbing tomorrow. I will have lineages. Can't believe it. All the way back to the Ark of Noah signed off. That's a good one. Got lineage? Yeah, Noah's Ark. That's it. I got to remember that one. That's good. Okay, Andy ate at Baker's and had some good greasons, right? Sounds like a great restaurant, family atmosphere, and Whole Foods. Yeah, it is. I would like to start up a restaurant on the farm someday. I will. I have this vision of Fifth Amendment zones, Fifth Amendment areas, which you got to claim it. You got to claim it. You can't expect them like these people don't understand the Constitution of the United States. They don't, or they would be saying, hey, you could do this if you wanted to, but they won't because they want control of us. That's what their charge is. But I can see a day when you have a place like Baker's, like where you can go there and get a farm tour. You can stop by this little section over here and get something to eat if you want. Get a cup of coffee, buy a gallon of raw milk on your way out the door and maybe some hamburger that we ground up from the roadkill on the road. And, have a good, maybe even get your hair cut while you're here. You never know. Why aren't we doing that? A one-stop deal where you're going to get quality, because I'm walking around here and I'm going to tell people, hey, don't do that. Come on, don't urinate on your hands like that anymore. Don't do that. It's fun, isn't it? I'm looking at buying a $500 used commercial fridge so I can hang pig quarters in my shop. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, man. $500 used commercial fridge. Must be a big one then, I'm assuming it would have to be. You know what? Maybe you could build a nice locker. Well, probably not for under $500 though. But they got this thing. What's with the period people keep putting in their things? I see Nancy did it a couple times. Jonathan just did it. Put a period there. Oh, must be at the end of your sentence on the previous thing. All right. Okay, it's past. I've been on for an hour and 10 minutes, and I want to go say hi to my wife. I haven't seen her in a few days. Nice talking with you guys. Tomorrow's going to be our Friday show, and what we're doing is we've deleted the Wednesday show, and so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of push the Q&A over onto Friday. I realize I've been doing a lot of Q&A through the whole week, but we're going to use that for our Q&A. It'll be open line Q&A. So if you have questions or things that you want to talk about, we're going to open it up on Friday, and that'll be fun. right? So you can read the chat. Oh, okay. To move the text below the low. Oh, I see. Wow, you guys are really considerate. See, I wouldn't have known that. They are upping the chat so you can read it. Oh, okay. You figured that out. So you must be seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. You see the squirrely thing over here in the chat? Cool. Okay, things coming up next week down at the Clerics is going to be an event, and she posted that in the tribe. It's a homestead gardening event. She's going to share a bunch of information with whoever wants to go. I'm going to go, and then we've got some things that we're going to do. And I did want to kind of comment on that. I really am encouraging you all. Okay. To don't rely on anybody else to start up some sort of fun thing, fun, informative, and empowering farm type related issues in your neighborhood. Do it. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. And that's why the cleric said, "Hey, we're going to do this." And so, if they say they're going to do it, I'm going. I'm going because that's I want to be around that. That shows gusto, and they are doing a homestead hog harvest there in November, and I will be there for that. I don't know if I'll have my schoolie by then, but I will be there for that, and I think that that's really neat. She's got her class full at this point. At this early stage of the game, the class is full, so I'm really impressed with that, and I will be there with bells on. Looking forward to it. You know, the thing about it is, you go to an event where people are going to be slaughtering hogs. They're paying money to learn how to slaughter hogs. You're going to meet people you like there. If you like coming to this show, you will meet people that you like. You will have a life-changing event. I can almost guarantee it. I really only remember one person that came to one of our classes that had kind of a sourpuss the whole time and referred to us as you people, you know. So I think she was a Biden supporter is what it was. Andy locked it up with her. Okay. Okay. I'm saying on the bird. Oh, I can't read you, man. Can't read you. Dark oppression. Okay. Meaning the chickens are still edible birds, flu or not. And I've from the docs, the government sites that states that, meaning they're destroying chickens just to hurt us. Of course, that's always what they do. All right, I got to go. Thanks a lot, everybody. Remember, anyone can farm. Let's get serious about this